that you always have old junk that's overpriced, right? There's all those old stale listings that are still out there and they kind of mess your statistics. If you discounted those and said, okay, let's only look at the inventory that's been listed since February, you'd quickly find we're in a huge seller's market, right? Because the inventory would way drop if you took everything that was on the market more than 100 days ago. Then your inventory numbers would significantly drop. So what does that mean again? 0 to 3 month supply, strong seller's market. 4, 5, and 6, relatively balanced market. 7, 8, 9, 10, strong buyer's market. Well, if we're in a strong seller's market, why would a buyer buy in a strong seller's market? Why would a buyer even consider it? Why would a buyer buy in a strong seller's market? This is the interactive part where I'm going to let you guys ask questions so I can stop.
They need to.
What's that, Bob?
I said because they need to.
Well, right. Okay, they might have a need, right?
Interest rates are really low right now.
Well, that's key, right, April? The interest rates are very low. And as a matter of fact, they're artificially high at the moment because the banks are trying to slow down applications because they can't keep up with the volume. If you really look at the bond market and where things ought to be, interest rates probably ought to be another 0.5% lower. The only reason they aren't, they're artificially high to slow down volume. That's it. Watch for interest rates to come down significantly by August. They really, based on the bond market, interest rates should be in the high 2s by August, for sure. Why else would a buyer buy in today's market?
That perfect property came on the market.
Yeah, Sandy, right, here's what I always say. There's never the wrong time to buy the right house at the right price, right? So if a buyer says, why would I buy now? There's never a wrong time to buy the right house at the right price. If a buyer starts throwing up yellow flags, maybe I shouldn't buy now, I should wait. Nothing wrong with that. But my question always to buyers are you trying to time the market, right? If you're trying to time the market and you're speculating in real estate, then you probably should not be buying at the moment. But if you're buying for a 7, 8, 9, 10-year hold, there's nothing wrong with buying the right house at the right price today, right? The market, who knows what the market's going to do in 10 years? Now, if you said to me, I'm going to buy today and I only plan on keeping it for 2 years, this might not be the market for a 2-year hold, right? Because we might see prices dip down a little bit next year at this time. But if somebody came to me and said, look, I'm going to buy a vacation home, my kids are in elementary school, we're going to keep it through high school, why would they not buy today at 3.5% if it was the right house at the location they wanted to be in and they're going to use it for the next 10 years, right? Nothing wrong with that. So there's no reason to discourage people from buyers buying in a seller's market as long as they're not trying to time it so that they can have an immediate escape route, right? So we don't want that to happen. On the seller's side, now is the time to be waving the flag, right? Now is the time to be jumping down. Mr. Seller, Mr. Seller, Mr. Seller. If you are thinking about buying, today is the day. Interest rates are low, competition is low, right? If you want, we can use 100% online digital tools if you don't want people through your home. Or here's our safe practices. We're going to offer masks, we're offering disinfectant, whatever it is that you're going to offer in your sale program. But it is critical to go out and get listings today. I can't tell you, there's nothing more important. There is nothing more important than getting a seller today. All right, so I just blabbed at you guys for 15 minutes nonstop. What are you seeing? What are the objections that you're seeing or the obstacles that you are seeing for bringing in listings at the moment? Either the obstacle that you're facing or the objections you're getting that we haven't talked about. How do we help you get more listings today?
I'm having a trouble with people from Pennsylvania that can't come down here to work on their house to get it ready to list.
Okay, so what's a possible solution?
Well, I'm giving them opportunities for contractors to come in and do some of the work for them. Yeah,
get it done for them. Keep the process moving. Offer it, coordinate it for them, and meet somebody over there. Get quotes. Proactively get quotes for them. Sure.
April, can they not come down for 14 days and stay for 14 days? And
No,
work
Okay,
from
you
home?
can't if you stay. If it's your house.
no, it's not practical.
Yeah, if your clients can't, legally they can't.
Yeah.
And it is 14 days or the duration of their stay. Everyone keeps dropping that or duration of your stay part.
Yes, thanks, Steve. What else? What are you guys seeing? What are the objections that you're facing? What's keeping you from being able to get a seller to sign on the dotted line? You guys are nailing it. I love it. Nobody got 200 new listings next week.
I have a buyer in Pennsylvania who has called the state police and stuff to ask them if they could travel down, and the state police were telling them no, that they couldn't come through Delaware. They'd probably get pulled over and questioned and wouldn't be able to make it here to Maryland.
Yeah, that's not true, Sandy. I would tell them to stop talking to state police. I live right on the border of Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland. I travel in and out. Nobody can restrict you from driving to your own property, wherever it is. They could.
Well, they're a buyer.
Well,
and
you're open for buyers to come into Maryland, so there's no issue.
And the Delaware deal is that if you're traveling through the state, there's no way they stop you either. It's only if you're off a main road and traveling to here.
That's right. Yeah, tell them to stop getting bad information.
Okay.
What are you finding? What's an objection for you right now to getting a seller to commit and move forward? All right, so then let's look at it this way. What's your goal? What are you hoping to get goal-wise, listing-wise? Are you feeling like, what's your sense at the moment? Are you sensing that you're going to be able to go out and bring in listings? Do you sense that there's sellers ready to go and now it's just a timing thing? Like, how are you guys feeling overall? Are you feeling like, okay, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel here and we're geared up? Is that where you are?
I don't feel like there's many objections to listing right now. I mean, maybe I'm not going on, 2 listing appointments every day, but I haven't had anyone that's really expressed any concern about listing their property. And, granted, we're in Ocean City, so a lot of people aren't here. It's a second home. It's, it's no worry to them. They're probably not coming down anyway, but I haven't heard any substantial objections that you couldn't overcome or provide some script back to them to try to get them to proceed forward. And some of the stuff you mentioned is really good information as well.
Okay. So how are we going to find sellers at the moment? One of the things, Mike, you actually just kind of reminded me of it by mentioning that. The question to me would be, or the opportunity would be contacting the non-resident sellers or non-resident owners and giving them a call and asking them if now's a great time to sell their property, right? There's very low inventory. Use the statistics. So pick a property in a specific community, reach out to the other 75 homeowners, send them a letter, send them a handwritten note and say, here's the statistics. Our market, is low on inventory. You give 2 or 3 specific statistics. Say there's no home for sale in your market. If I could get you top dollar right now, would you consider selling? Right now is a great time for a direct mail campaign to non-owner occupants and get in front of them. There's also data that you can use in Bright through Remind. So you can use Remind to help you target potential sellers through an algorithm and statistics of who might be a good seller. So I want to encourage you now, go find sellers, go kick them out of the, go find them, kick up the dust and go find a good, ready, willing, and able seller. They're out there, but they just may not know it, right? If you live in Virginia or DC or Pennsylvania, New Jersey, you may not realize that things are really open and moving and you're able to sell. Now's a good time, pick 2 or 3 communities, send a letter to the non-resident owners and just give them 2 or 3 stats about why the market is hot at the moment for their home and just ask the question. Make it simple. Don't make a big sales pitch about listing with you. If I could get you top dollar for your home today, would you consider selling? That's it. Nothing more. and let them call you and see what you can kick up from there. The listing agents are the ones that are going to win this battle for the next 6 months. I mean, the listing agents are going to win the battle. And you know what? Buyers are getting a little nutty because of the multiple offer situation. They're calling, even committed buyers are calling listing agents directly because they think they're going to get an inside scoop, or if the agent's going to get twice the commission, my offer has a better chance than if I use the agents I've been using. So if your business is buyer heavy right now, I'd be worried, because those buyers sitting there may go, I'm just going to start calling the listing agents because I keep losing out on deals. If I call the listing agent and they can make twice the commission, maybe I'm better off. So you cannot be buyer prospect heavy at the moment. You got to be seller prospect based. You have to be.
I heard a term that an agent used. It was scarcity. So, the mentality of some people, around the holidays, we're going to take our property off full scarcity. If everyone does that and you convince your clients to keep it on the market, there's more of a chance that they're going to see your property. If it suddenly drops, then they're going to have less to choose from. And particularly now when buyers are just circling, trying to find properties and all the conditions are right. If you can talk to people and say, look, come on the market. There's just not enough. You're going to be in front of more people than ever. There's still a lot of folks that are afraid to travel. They're a captive audience. And I feel like there's a pent up demand. I mean, last weekend, I just got crazy busy from Friday all the way to yesterday. Listings, buyers calling on signs. It just seemed like there was no reservation, no hesitation. Ocean City was packed full of people. The boardwalk was open, the beach was open. I think some of the same things are going on in Delaware. It was just like a warm spring day, and no one even seemed like they were worried about what was going on. They were just out enjoying the weather and trying to, I guess, restore some normalcy to their lives. And I think that's a great thing that we could benefit from, going forward as things start to improve.
Yeah, totally agree, Mike. Totally agree.
As far as listings, I think we're going to have more opportunities probably in the fall because of the people that really needed the income from, the summer rentals and didn't get it. Those weaker people, are going to have to sell. But from my phone calls, I'm talking with people that don't have to sell. Everything was great before this happened, and the economy was so strong they didn't have to sell, and are looking 3 years down the road. So many I talked to were going to retire in like 3 years, so they just weren't ready to do anything.
Yeah, Kim, there's no doubt. And what we want to do, though, is we want to make sure by staying in consistent communication with them that when they do make that decision, that they're thinking about that we get the call, right? We want to get the call in both from our past clients, our sphere, and picking a really good geographical farm that we want to own, right? And you just don't know, again, who out there might want to sell. There may be some folks who are unemployed or feeling their employment is weak, and it might be a good time for them to unload their second property and take the cash in, or not carry a second mortgage if they can't get the rental incomes back up, right? In Delaware, we're still dealing with the fact that short-term rentals are not permitted, right? So if they keep losing week after week after week of rental income, there may be some folks who say, now's the time to cash out, at least not carry 2 mortgages. So here's the thing, I don't want to scare anybody into selling. All I want to do is raise my hand and say, if it makes sense now, please consider me. Okay, that's all we're doing. We're not saying, let's put the fear of God into people and, sell, sell, sell. What we're saying is, if now's the right time to sell, please don't forget me. I'm here, and this is why you should choose me. Here's my value proposition. Here's my my discount, or whatever it is that we think we want to do. On there. Does anybody else have an objection or anything you'd like to tackle? If not, I'm going to wish you guys well. I'm kind of excited. It's Memorial Day weekend. Normally I'd be locked into Rehoboth and not going on Route 1. For last year, I made the big mistake of driving from Ocean City to Rehoboth on Friday, Memorial Day weekend at 3 in the afternoon. It took me 3.5 hours. I walked out of the office down there and thought, oh, it's going to be fine. No, it wasn't. It was crazy. So I don't think we're going to have that this year, and it's going to feel a little different. It's not going to feel the same. But I do think some people are raising their hands saying, I want to get back outside, so let me go.
Matt, I have a question. This is Lauren Smith.
Hey, Lauren.
How are you, unless I missed it, I had to jump off the call for a few minutes. How are you handling open house pressure from your sellers in response to COVID-19?
So in general, I think that would be a really not smart thing to do. I would not be leaning towards open houses. Now, you could do a couple of things. You could do a staggered open house and say, we're going to do an open house from 1 to 3, and we're going to only let people in every 15 minutes so that you don't have people in there at the same time, but have the doors and lights on and things like that so people aren't touching things. That's a possibility. I also want to encourage them that, online marketing is a 24/7 open house, right? If you have a virtual tour online, even if it's just photos, you do have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week open house. People are able to see what's getting there. But I would not just have this blanket, lots of people coming in the house all at once. I don't think we're there yet, and I would be very cautious.
Well, and the guidance has been that if you're going to do them, at least in Delaware anyway, in Maryland, that has been lifted. In Delaware, as of June 1, you will be able to do open houses. However, you are not able to have more than 10 in your open house. But quite frankly, I probably like your approach a little better in terms of doing it in that manner. I guess I would also even potentially propose, and fortunately now with the weather being getting on the warmer side, is even myself as the agent, rather than standing inside, I might stand outside the front door, and you could welcome people in, but not go in the house with them, and allow them to walk through. Maybe you could kind of hand them a sheet or give them some highlights, but allow them to peruse through, as opposed to you being in the house like we normally would be during an open house. So just a couple thoughts there.
Yeah, I think totally agree.
Matt, something that I would, just because I know of the audience that's on the call here, we've got the gamut. We've got really seasoned agents on the call, and we've got some brand new people, some people that have literally just started in the last month, and they have been in Ignite, and some of them are even in Bold Pivot right now, and they're making calls and they're doing their contacts, yet maybe they're not as seasoned, if you will, in terms of feeling as comfortable and confident with respect to listings. So what would you recommend and advise to, if I'm a newer agent, in terms of feeling not as, right, maybe taking a buyer, talking to a buyer, I feel a little bit more comfortable with? And how would you coach somebody from a newer agent perspective? Because if I took anything away from this, it's those who get the listings are gonna, kind of come out, stronger. So what would you advise?
So just 2 quick things on why I think they're stronger. Number 1 is buyers don't shop for agents, they shop for property. So I don't care what your ad campaigns look like. You can't run enough ads to say, I'm going to be a great buyer's agent. Call me if you want to see a house. It's just not how it works. Buyers go online, they look for a property, and then they look for an agent. So they find the property first. You want to be the one that has the property, right? So be the listing agent. If you feel like you can't go out and nail that listing appointment, then I would encourage you to partner up with a more seasoned agent in the office, right? And ask somebody to split it with you, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You're better off splitting a listing and getting the experience and having that experience and that mentor. And it could be anybody in the office that you know, like, and trust. Just grab somebody and say, hey, look, I've got a listing appointment set for tomorrow. I'm feeling a little lack of confidence. Would you go with me? Let's look at the comps together and put it together. The other side is, if you don't want to take them, role play the listing appointment. Role play the listing appointment out. Prepare everything. Get your CMA done. Get your value proposition done. Get everything prepared, and then ask somebody to role play it with you and get confident. Yes, my very first listing appointment I went on, I went on the listing appointment and I actually feel like I did somewhat of a good job, except here's how stupid I am. I got all the way to the thing and they said, yes, we'll list with you. I didn't bring the listing contract, right? So I didn't even have a listing. Who shows a listing appointment when you don't have a listing contract? So like, we'll sign. There's nothing to sign. I didn't even bring a listing contract. I didn't even know how to fill it out. So I got in my car and called a friend in the office and said, hey, I got a listing, but I don't know how to take a listing. So I had to go back to the office and fill out all the paperwork and then run back to the house and get them to sign everything. So there's nothing wrong with asking for help, right? That's how we're set up. Ask somebody in the office, ask a member of the ALC, whatever you'd like, but that's what I would do. The number one, practice, and if practice doesn't work, take somebody with you. Don't lose it. Don't wing it. You can't lose a listing today. Anybody else? All right, 2 things for me. One, I'm incredibly proud of you guys and the way you have stepped up over the last 3 months. This has been hard. And quite frankly, I've been so busy trying to make sure all of our businesses were viable and alive when we got through the rough part. I didn't slow down until about a week ago to realize how difficult this has been for a lot of people, right? I didn't even think about it, right? My kids haven't left the house, right? And it didn't hit me until I realized that I wasn't coming to the beach for Memorial Day. And the same friends that I see every Friday Memorial Day weekend, right? We go to the back porch for dinner on Friday. We go, we have different reservations Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. We've been doing it for 17 years, right? We're not doing it. And all of a sudden it hit me like, that's weird. And some of these are friends I only see once or twice a year, and we see them at the beach on Memorial Day weekend. And that hit me, that felt weird. And I think that we're all starting to come to terms with this. And we don't know what tomorrow's going to look like anyway. It could go back to this in the fall. It could go back to this in the flu season. I don't know. So number one is you guys have done a great job doing the best you can to keep your clients happy, to keep your businesses alive, and to keep your head above water. So kudos to all of you for doing that. And number 2, awesome job and a great job on Red Day and raising money and just putting other people first. That's just beyond incredible. So you're going to be seeing guidance coming out from Bridget and Becky here shortly about what new procedures are going to look like in the office. But we're here, we're resilient, we aren't going anywhere. We're here to protect your business. And if you need anything, please make sure you ask. We want to make sure you thrive. So that's it for me. I hope you guys get a little bit of downtime over the holiday weekend. If you need it, if not, go get a listing. Go get lots of listings. Need anything else, Bridget?
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. Thanks for giving me some time today, you guys. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Have a great day. Lots of listings.
Go get listings. Let's celebrate them next week.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
All right.